Hello, my name is Arlen Crawford. Let's talk about job interview tips and questions. Basically, the first one we want to cover is your appearance. And the cardinal rule for an interview is to dress up for the occasion. What does that mean? That means you're going to be wearing a suit, whether you're a woman or whether you're a man. Preferably, you're going to be wearing a suit. And that's because if you wear a sports coat and a tie, that'll automatically place you second to the candidate who wears a suit. And almost all candidates wear suits these days. Now, basically, for a woman's suit is a preference, of course, but if you want to wear a dress, that's also acceptable as long as the dress is appropriate and you're not showing too much cleavage or have a hemline that's way too short, that type of thing. So remember, your appearance is critical, and one of the reasons why your appearance is critical is simply because the hiring managers and interviewers figure that you will look the best that they've ever seen on the day in which you interview. So if you come in looking sloppy that day, they don't ever think you're going to look any better. And of course, if they hire you, you're going to represent the company. So you always want to look as good as you can. If you look less than your optimum, they're going to take a dim view, and they're going to think that you don't think that this interview, by any means, any stretch of the imagination, is a priority. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to prepare. You're going to prepare as hard as you can. That's absolutely the best thing you can do when it comes to an interview. What you want to do is you want to learn everything you possibly can about that company. Go to their website, call the receptionist, ask any of your friends if they know anything about them. You want to find out everything you possibly can know about that company. And here's why. Because basically what happens with your preparation, once you're prepared as much as you can be, you're going to be confident. Confidence comes from preparation. So that's why you definitely want to prepare as much as you possibly can. You can be very confident if you're prepared. And basically, that's not going to guarantee that you're going to get the job because of variables. And the variables are you don't know how many candidates you're talking to, or you don't know the quality of the candidates. But what it will do for you is it will let you perform to the best of your ability if you are prepared. So you want to perform to the best of your ability every time you go for an interview. Now, the various types of interviewing techniques are interesting. The first one is the open-ended technique, and basically we'll get into that. The second one is the elaborative technique, and the third one is the behavioral technique. All of them are very interesting techniques. The behavioral is probably the one that's most in vogue these days, but the open-ended technique, that basically is a technique where the interviewer starts you with the interview, and he'll say something like, "Tell me about yourself." And basically, this is your chance to sound off about yourself, to tell them everything that you can in reference to your employment. What you want to know is you want to know where to start and end your answer on this one, because if you see your interviewer disengaging, you want to curtail your answer. You don't want to start, "I was born in 1934. You want to talk about when your employment career started. You want to hit the highlights. Try and keep your answer to 2 to 3 minutes. You don't want to give them a soliloquy. You want to do this you want to be brief, but you want to be thorough. The other kind of technique that they use a little bit, you have some control over it. It's called the elaborative technique. This is going to rely upon an application or resume, and it consists of the interviewer asking you to elaborate about something that you have given them. In other words, if you've given them an application or you've given them a resume, what they're going to do is they're going to ask you to elaborate about something you've written down. So it's something you've given to them, and it sort of leaves you a little bit in controls as long as you can talk about everything you've written down. And it may go something like, "I see you've worked for IBM. Can you tell me about a typical day in your job there?" And what that really means is you don't list all your day-to-day responsibilities, but you can sort of tell them how it went, and that's elaborating on something on your resume. The last technique obviously is the behavioral technique, and this technique requires really additional focus when answering because they're going to ask you things in the behavioral technique that is going to try and they're going to try and gauge how you would react or how you would behave based on what you've done in your previous employment life. So it's going to be important. Something may be like, a question may be like, tell me about a time in your career when you had a conflict with your supervisor. How did you resolve that conflict? Let's just say hypothetically you've never had a conflict with your supervisor. Well, but how you want to answer that question then is you don't want to say, I really never have had that happen before, and then stop. What you want to say is, well, I've really never encountered that problem. I've never had a conflict with my supervisor. But if I had, this is what I think I would have done or how I would have handled it. And that's when you give them another hypothetical answer to their hypothetical question. So the behavioral technique, again, it just gauges how you might react if given in a given situation. Now, one of the things that is going to be very important in terms of answering questions is anticipation. If you learn to anticipate what questions might come your way and you prepare to answer all those questions before they reach you, you're going to be well ahead. You want to always try and think about what your answer is going to be to whatever question is coming. And anticipating what actually might happen in an interview is an excellent scenario or an excellent way to handle an interview. So what all could possibly happen? And basically, the value in these interview tips and questions is what you do with them. So remember, preparation, anticipation, dress, all those are crucial. And I hope that this helped you in some small way. Good luck. Thank you very much.